Okay, I'm recorded already. Thank you very much, Matthew, for having me today. So I would like to thanks you first for your very brilliant contribution to, to that report. So may I start from the first question is about, could you please conclude about your report in terms of economic growth and in terms of job in Asia Pacific?
Just to place the region in context, over the last 30 years, this has been one of the fastest growing regions in the world. And it has lifted 1 billion people out of poverty. But in recent years, growth has been slowing down. It's still higher than in other parts of the world, but in the face of higher protection, greater policy uncertainty, and slowing global growth, we expect regional growth to slow down this year, and we do not see in most countries a big recovery next year. This report focused especially on jobs. And here again, the good news is that most people in this region who are looking for jobs find them. Unemployment rates are very low, but young people are struggling to find jobs. As many as 1 out of 7 young people in China and Indonesia cannot find any jobs at all. Women's participation in the labor force is low. The gap is as much as 15 percentage points between countries, between men and women in countries like Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And the big problem is that recent job creation has been not in high productivity manufacturing jobs, which is what was happening in the past, but more and more people are leaving low productivity agriculture for low productivity services jobs, construction, retail. So the big challenge for this region is to somehow boost productivity, because we see this phenomenon that even though the middle class has grown, the class of people who are vulnerable to falling into poverty is in fact larger in many countries in the region. Not in Thailand. In Thailand, the middle class is bigger than the vulnerable class. But in other poorer countries, you have what people have said, a movement from the proletariat to the precariat.
Okay, so let's start with the more delve into my question. So this is a bit related to Thailand because we're talking a lot about the structural reform and sustained growth, something like that. So in your perspective, how can East Asia Pacific country and economy balance the short-term fiscal measure with the long-term structural reform to sustain growth and to avoid over-reliance on stimulus policy?
This is a region that has suffered a lot of shocks. There was COVID, there was the war in Ukraine, and there's inflationary pressures. So this combination required support from the government. For example, you had the digital wallet scheme in Thailand. And all these measures were necessary. The challenge is now to transition away from measures which are primarily designed to provide social protection to measures that provide stronger, sustained growth and create productive jobs. And for that, we need now more emphasis on strategic spending. This is a region that surprisingly doesn't spend so much on human capital. Infrastructure is good, but there's a need to upgrade infrastructure, especially digital infrastructure. And I think spending in general, which encourages productivity, is now more important than spending which simply supports demand. And finally, this region has, after the Asian financial crisis, done a fantastic job of ensuring stable growth. Fiscal policy has been very sensible. Financial regulations have been very strong. But even though the region has got reasonable growth and stable growth, it needs to do more to ensure that growth becomes dynamic through deeper reforms. For example, big successes in manufacturing, big weaknesses in services. Manufacturing, the region is open to trade and investment. Services, there is a persistence of protection. And that protection, I think, is going to become a problem for transition from middle to high income. So whereas the manufacturing sector openness helped Thailand and Malaysia and other countries in the region move from commodities to manufacturing, the next stage of development requires moving from manufacturing to innovation and to services. So if you think of what is really necessary, I would emphasize greater openness and competition, especially in services, stronger human capital, and finally, innovation in the sense of adopting new technologies.
Okay. Excuse me, can you pause it here for a minute? This one. I'm gonna stop the record by this question.
I think you said a couple of things that